My name is Mayanka. I am accounts and a finance trainer from Uplatz. Today we will discuss section 234A and section 234F. Means we will discuss the amount of interest which will be leviable under section 234A and 234F. Means as per the provision of Income Tax Act, every person is required to file his return of income on or before the due date of filing of return of income. Every person is required to file the return of income. As such a return of income is required to be filed on or before the due date, which is defined as per section 139 subsection 1. If there is any person default in furnishing his return of income, if the assessee default in furnishing the return of income, then such person is required to make the payment of interest on the amount of tax. And such interest will be calculated or it will be leviable under section 234A. Under section 234A, interest for default in furnishing the return of income. Interest when there is any assessee default, if there is any assessee, he is defaulting in filing of his return of income, then such person is required to make the payment of tax. As per the provision of Income Tax Act, the assessee is required to file his return of income on or before the due date of filing of his return of income. On or before the due date of filing of his return of income. Just like there is a assessee, Mr. Ram. There is a assessee, Mr. Ram, and he has earned total income. He has earned total income for the example 7,50,000. 7,50,000 is the total amount of income which is earned by the assessee, which is earned by Mr. Ram in the financial year 2020 and 2021. 2020 and 21. He has total income 7,50,000 rupees. His books of accounts are not required to be audited, then he is required to file his return of income. Return of income is required to be filed on or before 31st July 2021. Means he is required to file his return of income on or before the 31st July. If he does not file his return of income within this date, within such a due date, then he is required to make the payment of interest. And the rate of interest will be 1% per month. The rate of interest will be 1% per month. Is that interest under section 234A is attracted for the failure to file a return of income. Means if there is an assessee fails to file the return of income on or before the due date which are specified under section 139 subsection 1, then such assessee is required to means then section 234A will be attracted and he is required to make the payment of interest. Is that the interest is required to be payable by such assessee? The interest is also required to be payable by such assessee if he furnish his return of income on or after 1st April, after the due date of filing of return of income. Means if Mr. Ram he has filed his return of income after 31st July, means if he filed his return of income, just example 28th August, then he is required to make the payment. He is required to make the payment of interest on such amount of tax, and the interest rate will be 1%. The rate of interest will be 1% per month. The amount of interest will be 1% per month. So simple interest will be 1% per month or the part of the month in the following. Means the amount of interest or the rate of interest will be 1%. 1% for the month or for the part of the month. And it is payable and it is required to be payable by the assessee from the date immediately following the due date and ending to the following date. Means when there is any assessee, he is required to furnish the report or return on or before the due date of 31st July and he fails to furnish it, then the interest will be applicable and the interest rate will be 1% per month. And it will be means the interest will be charged from the date immediately following the due date. The due date is 31st July. So from 1st August 2021 to 28th August 21 is the amount, means is the month for which he is required to make the payment of tax, means for the means approximate 1 month. For the period of 1 month he is required to make the payment of tax, sorry, make the payment of interest on such tax amount. So the period will be start from the date immediately following the due date and ending on the following date number 1, where the return of income is furnished after the due date. Then the date on which the return is furnished by the assessee, means if the return is filed by the assessee after the due date, then the interest will be start from the just immediately following the due date till the date when the return of income is furnished by the assessee. In this case, the return of income is furnished by the assessee on 28th August. Then the interest will be charged from 1st August 2021 to 28th August 21. Where no return is furnished, where the assessee does not furnish the return of income, then the date of completion of assessment, then the date up to the date of completion of assessment, the interest will be calculated. The interest will be calculated means if Mr. Ram he does not file the return of income, does not file return of income, then the interest will be start from 1st August 2021 to the date till the date of completion of assessment till the date of completion of assessment. The interest has to be calculated on the amount of tax. The tax means the amount of interest, means such 1% will be calculated on the amount of interest, on the amount of tax. For the example, in the case of Ram, the total income was 7,50,000. Then the tax will be, first we will calculate tax. 7,50,000, 0 to 2.5 lakh, it will be 0, and more than 2.5 lakh, more than 2.5 lakh up to 5 lakh, then the tax rate will be 5%, and more than 5 lakh to up to 10 lakh, tax rate will be 20%, and more than 10 lakh, the rate will be 30%. So in this situation, the total income is 7,50,000. So the tax will be 0, is equal to 5 lakh minus 2,50,000, means 2,50,000 into 5%. And in this situation, the amount is 7,50,000 minus 5 lakh into 20% will be 0. So the tax will be 62,500. If Mr. Ram he filed the return of income on 31st July till 31st July, then the tax will be 62,500, means the net amount payable will be 62,500 rupees. 62,500 rupees. But he has filed his return of income 28th August. Then he is required to make the payment of interest, and the interest will be 1%. So 625 rupees is required to be payable by him as a interest. So the total payable amount is 63,125 rupees. 63,125 rupees is the net amount payable. This is the net amount which is or total amount which is required to be billed by the assessee. If he has furnished his return of income in August, in September, October, then the interest will be increased. Then the interest will be increased. So the amount of interest will be calculated on the amount of tax, which is required to be payable by the assessee. Means the interest will be calculated on the net amount of tax. On the net amount of tax means tax less, if there is any advance tax which is already paid, less the amount of TDS and TCS, then the net amount of the tax payable is is arise, and on such amount we will calculate the amount of interest under section 234A. Under section 234A. So the tax interest, so the rate of interest will be 1%. No interest under section 234A shall be charged on self-assessment tax paid by the assessee on or before the due date of filing of his return of income. Is that normally the income tax is required to be paid, or it is paid by the assessee when he file his return. But if the assessee make the payment of tax on or before the due date of filing of his return, if there is any assessee make the payment of such amount on or before the due date of filing of his return, then no interest will be taxed, no interest will be charged. Means if Mr. Ram, he has made the payment of such a tax 62,500 rupees on or before on or before 31st July 2021, then no interest will be charged. Then no interest will be charged. No interest will be charged. If the tax is paid by the assessee, on or before the due date, of filing of return of income, the interest which is payable under section 234A shall be reduced by the interest, if any, which is paid on the self-assessment under section 140A towards interest which is chargeable under section 234A. Means the amount of interest which is payable under section 234A, shall be reduced, such amount shall be reduced by the amount of interest. It shall be reduced by the amount of interest, if any, which is paid on self-assessment. Under section 10, under section 140A, towards the interest which is charged under section 234A. So the rate of interest will be 1% per month, and it will be calculated on the amount of tax. So this is section 234A. Interest. When there is a default in filing of return of income. Now we will discuss section 234F. 234F, fees for defaulting in furnishing return of income. 234A is interest for defaulting in furnishing the return of income. This is fees. 234F, fees for defaulting in furnishing return of income. Fees. When there is any person who is required to furnish his return of income, if there is any person who is required to furnish his return of income, and if such person fails to furnish his return of income within the prescribed time, then such assessee is required to make the payment of fees also. Means he will make the payment of fees. Under section 234F. Means such amount of fees is in addition to the amount of interest. Means the interest will be applicable, as well as the fees under section 234F will also be applicable. It will also be applicable. So where a person who is required to furnish his return of income under section 139, and he fails to furnish his income within the prescribed time limit, then such assessee is required, or he shall pay the amount of fees, and the sum will be 5,000 rupees if the return of income is furnished by the assessee on or before 31st December. If the assessee he has furnished the return of income before 31st December, then the fees will be 5,000 rupees. If he filed his return of income after 31st December, then the fees will be 10,000 rupees. However, if the total income of the person does not exceed 5 lakh, if the total income of the assessee is not more than 5 lakh rupees, then the fees will be 1000 rupees maximum. 1000 rupees maximum. Just like as per such example, Ram total income is 7,50,000 rupees and he furnished his return of income on 28th August. He will make the payment of interest as well as fees under section 234F. 234F. And he has furnished the return of income before 31st December, then the fees will be 5,000. The fees will be 5,000 only if he furnishes return of income on 25th Feb 22 20 25 Feb means 25 Feb 22, then the amount of interest will be 10. So the amount of fees will be 10,000. The amount of fees will be 10,000 rupees. It will be 10,000 rupees if the income of Mr. Ram, the gross total income of Mr. Ram is only 4,80,000. It is 4,80,000. Then the fees will be restricted to 1,000. Then the fees will be restricted to 1,000 rupees. So, if there is any assessee who is required to furnish his return of income, if the return of income is not furnished by the assessee on or before the due date of filing of his return of income, then such assessee is required to make the payment of interest as well as he is required to make the payment of fees also under section 234F. Under section 234F, and the amount of fees will be 5,000 rupees if the return is furnished by the assessee on or before 31st December. If it is furnished before 31st December, then the fees will be 5,000 rupees. If he furnished his return of income after 31st December, then the fees will be 10,000 rupees. And if there is an assessee whose total income is up to, means it is not exceeding 5 lakh rupees, then the fees will be 1,000 rupees maximum. The maximum amount of fees will be 1,000 rupees. So on the basis of such discussion, we have covered section 234A and section 234F. These provisions are very much important provision of Income Tax Act, because if there is any assessee does not furnish return of income on or before the due date, then such person is required to make the payment of interest as well as the amount of fees as per the proofs. So thank you so much for watching this video. Okay, bye bye and have a nice day.